Hello there and welcome to the English Language Club. It's Tuesday, so it's time for another one of our English Language Club hangouts where we just hang out and talk to you guys, answer your questions. My name is Colin Munro and this is Tony Cooper. How are you doing, Tony?
It's good to be here.
Very good. So it's a big week for English Language Club, and hopefully it's going to be a big year. We've kind of gone up a gear. We've started putting out more videos. We've got more videos in production, and we've just launched a course. And you can also join the English Language Club. Well, you've been able to join for a while, and if you are a member, you will have got access to some behind the scenes videos, and you'll continue to get that, but you'll also get access to a Zoom meeting with either of us or both of us maybe on Wednesdays. So that is the big news for this week. But anyway, while we are talking about this, get your questions coming in, because that's what these meetings are all about. Have we got many people watching, Tony?
Well, let's see.
We've got AJ. AJ, I think, is in Monaco.
AJ also got Yasmin, Alejandro from Paraguay. Colin and I used to live in Paraguay. Let us know where in Paraguay you live. We have Jay Emmanuel, Tata Regita, Shrifati Arawan says hello. Nalima Khatun says hi. Hello, everybody.
Hello. Yeah, so Tony and I used to live in Paraguay. I knew several Alejandros, and I can't place you. Did I actually know you, Alejandro? Or did I teach you? Let me know. But anyway, good to see you anyway. Great to see somebody from Paraguay. So AJ made a comment here. He just says, worth joining then. So because I was talking about the memberships, which is about to go up a gear as of tomorrow. So because we're going to start doing the Zoom calls. Now, the reason this is such a good deal is because it only costs, there's several tiers to several levels of membership. And the first one is just $1.99. Now, $1.99 a month. So at least for the month of January, we're going to keep the Zoom calls open to all levels. They will eventually be for only the higher levels. But whilst we're just getting started with the memberships and there's not that many members, we'll open it to everyone. And I think we'll do that at least for all of January. So for £1.99, you'll get 4 hours of English classes where you can talk with me and Tony, or me or Tony, or maybe both of us, and a few other students. So for 50p an hour, for an English class, that's like that. You're never going to see a deal like that. So make sure you join the English Language Club. There should be a little button below this video next to the subscribe video. Yes. So you're right, AJ. It is definitely going to be worth joining. Mm-hmm. Have you got any questions?
We've got a few other people show up. Vitali, Octavia from East Timor, Merlin, Andy DA. We hope you're doing well as well. Vitali is hoping that we are having a cracking day. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
But definitely get your questions out there so we can go ahead and start answering your questions.
Mm-hmm. We've got Kayao Min Luin on Facebook. He's got a question which is quite broad. I want to speak English. How do you do that? Well, you're in the right place. This is what we do here. We help people practice their English and learn English. So watch our videos. Like I said, we're going to have more videos coming out. I filmed 2 this morning, which are going to come out later this week. Nice. There was 1 earlier in the week. So yeah, this is where you come to learn English, or one of the places. YouTube is a great place. It's not just the English Language Club, there's hundreds of really great teachers on YouTube making really good videos. So check them all out. Don't just watch us. Okay. Any more questions? We do need some good questions though, which we're not getting a lot of people joining and saying hi. Which is great.
I feel like there's a lot of people here that are new, and that's great. So excited. So just to let you know, on this live stream, this is very chill. We just hang out. We answer your questions. Sometimes go off on tangents and this kind of stuff, but we do rely on you guys to ask great questions that we can answer. So Merlin from Moldova, welcome, said, hi, sir. After learning phonetics, what should I do?
No, wait. Merlin is from Myanmar. It's Andy Dart who's from Moldova.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Merlin from Myanmar and Andy Dart from Moldova. Sorry about that. Yep. Got those mixed up.
So, hi, sir. After learning phonetics, what should I do?
So is the question like not you learned phonetics first, and then what in terms of learning English? Is the question like what can you do more for pronunciation? Or because phonetics is a bit of an odd thing because it's not really one of the steps in learning English. It's something that a lot of people would benefit from if they have trouble pronouncing things. A lot of times people will just practice and listen and they'll be able to pick up the pronunciation, especially depending on what language you're coming from. Like if you're coming from Spanish or something like that, you might just have a few small things that you need to work on. If you're coming from a very, very dramatically different language, then it might be something that you have to study as a set. But usually it's just a tool that you use to help you where you're struggling with pronunciation. Yeah.
So that's the important point. It's a tool that you use. And I would say as well, you never really need to learn all of phonetics. You only need to use it as reference to look at to look in more detail at the areas that you have identified as being problems in your pronunciation. So certain people struggle with certain sounds. And again, that might depend on your first language. But yeah, it's a tool for reference. And so, we use it to help with our pronunciation. But it's not something you need to learn 100% of. So yeah, I hope that's helpful. I'm not sure we fully understood your question, Merlin, but yeah, I do hope that's helpful.
Yeah, let us know if there's more that you wanted us to explain.
Yeah. Number one says, hello. I know it's kind of late, but Happy New Year. Well, this is actually the first live stream we're doing in 2021. Yeah. The last one was just before New Year. So Happy New Year to you and Happy New Year to everyone. I hope that 2021 is going to be the year where lots of people are going to decide to improve their English and learn English. It's certainly the year that we have decided we want to help lots of people to do that. So, let's make this happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think got a good question here from Nalima. Sir, how can I improve my pronunciation and how can I learn phonetics easily? Okay, so this ties in with what we were saying in about the last question. Well, phonetics is, as we said, a tool to help you with pronunciation. So in terms of how can I improve my pronunciation? Well, use phonetics. And again, we always say this, and I say it in all my videos. Remember that pronunciation is physical. It depends, how you pronounce and how the sound comes out depends on what you're doing with your tongue, your teeth, your lips. So you mustn't just think about, I need to make that sound. If you're making that sound wrong, you need to think about it physically. So, we've made, years ago, we made a video on every single sound on the phonetic chart. And in those videos, they're a little bit dated now, but in those videos, we go through, I go through, how the sound is made physically. So once you know which sounds you've got problems with, you can watch those videos and think about what you're doing specifically. with, you know, and if you're doing it right. And if you are doing it right, it should sound right.
Yeah.
I think it's physically impossible to physically be doing it right and it sound wrong. So the physicality and the sound are the you know, connected.
Right. Because that's just what makes the sound. Yeah. It's not some arcane, like some people can make this sound, some people can't. If you can put your mouth in the right position, your tongue, your teeth, your lips, all in the right position, you're going to make the sound. What makes some people able to say the sounds more easily is just practice. It's the same as exercising. Anything. Some people can go out and they can jog for 10 kilometers. No big deal. Other people would not be able to do that. Their muscles are just not up to it. They're not practiced at it. Right.
Yeah.
But I definitely have to agree with Colin. Like if you're struggling with pronunciation, you want to learn phonetics easily. You don't want to like learn everything. Just go through the pronunciation chart, like one of Colin's first videos here in English Language Club, and any of the sounds that you struggle with. Just go and watch those individual videos, practice the examples, think about where, and whenever you're doing pronunciation, think about where your tongue, your teeth, your lips are, and whether you're voicing or not.
Great. Well, I hope that's helpful. If that is, please give us a thumbs up. We've got about 17 people watching now. We've got a few likes already. That's great. A few more would be even better. We've got a question here from Farouk, who says, didactics, is that the same as education? Is that? I'm not sure about that. Is
so
that
the
right,
word
Tony?
didactic means it's for education. So for instance, a children's book can be didactic if it's trying to teach you things about the world, right? A really good example I love for this word is that church windows back in the Middle Ages were didactic because they didn't just build windows to be pretty. They built windows to teach people stories. So they would set up the scene, and everything in the window would be to help teach people how that story went and what was important from it. However, didactics is a little bit different depending on exactly how technical you're getting in the world of education. Generally speaking, I would say didactics is the study of education, the study of teaching. So the didactics doesn't just mean education, it more means the study of education, but the adjective didactic means it educates.
Right.
An MA in didactics is not the same as an MA in education. I wouldn't say, at least in the States, it wouldn't be. I don't know if again, didactics with as a noun is a technical term in the field of education, and so depending on how it's being used, it's going to depend on how deep everything is. Didactics is more like, instead of learning how to teach, it's studying how people teach and how people learn.
Right. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, I've learned something new today.
In Canada, I think we call it pedagogy more than didactics.
Yeah, that's a word that we hear more in UK.
Yeah, pedagogy is like, if you get a degree in pedagogy, you're not learning how to teach, you're learning how to teach teachers to teach, right?
Yeah. So AJ's got a question here relating to the video we published earlier this week, which was about the ash symbol, or the sound. It was really more about the ash symbol, though. So he says, you said in a recent video that Latin is dead other than the church. Is this true, and why? I use common Latin phrases all the time. So, Tony, you wrote most of that video, so I'll give this one to you.
History and history of language is such a fascinating thing. So specifically, Latin is a dead language. Not Latin is dead. A dead language is a language that isn't spoken anymore as a people's native tongue. So languages are not just a set of words. They're not just a code for speaking. So for instance, most programming languages, like Python or Scala or whatever, aren't languages because people are not using them to communicate their own thoughts and ideas to each other over the course of a lifetime, right? Codes, Morse code, for instance, is not a language, this kind of stuff. So
Hmm.
a language, a real language that people are growing up learning, is constantly changing. It's constantly growing. And there's things about the way it works in our brain and stuff that are unique for a language that people grow up learning, right? So Latin isn't a live language. It's not spoken by some group of people somewhere in the world as their native language. It's something that people learn for technical reasons or to study things, right? So that's what we call, why we call it a dead language. The only reason that we talked about the church being a little bit different is, people stopped speaking Latin as their main language over 1,000 years ago. But throughout the entire Middle Ages, there was a large group of people who were speaking Latin regularly to each other. And that was, people in the church or academics. So Latin has been dead for not as long in the Catholic Church as it has been as a general language. But it is a dead language. That doesn't mean we don't use it anymore. We use it for lots of things. Doctors use it. Priests still use it in many places. There's lots of phrases. Carpe diem, right? We use Latin a lot. And everything, about English and French and Spanish and Italian and even other languages is so influenced by Latin. I think it's hilarious when I find a word in Russian or Greek or Arabic or something like that. That's just a Latin word. It's because Latin has been so influential in the sciences, right? And so Latin shows up all the place. It's not dead. We use it all the time, but it's not a living language anymore. Sorry, that may have been too much.
Okay, no, that's great. Yeah, so if you haven't watched that video, do go back and watch it, because I think it's fascinating.
It's funny, yeah.
Video. I mean, it's about the ash symbol, and the reason we made it is because we get so many comments about the ash symbol because it's used in so many different ways. But whenever we're talking about it, we're talking about phonetics and the International Phonetic Alphabet. But so we get a lot of people who are like Icelandic or something, and they say, no, you're using it wrong. And it's like, well, we're using it differently to you. It's not wrong. And it's used in so many different ways, from computer games to Norse mythology to Elon Musk's baby. So we touch on all of those things, and K-pop even. It's interesting how one video can touch on so many different subjects. Okay, so question here from number 1, who says, "Sir, non-native speakers make a lot of mistakes using of the. How do we use the? Thanks." So the definite article. So now this is also. Are you talking about the pronunciation or the use of the word? I mean, because with the pronunciation, the sort of sound, although it's the sound, people do often, because they're not used to sticking their tongue out, which you have to do to make that sound. They often try to make it without that, so it comes out like duh. That's wrong. It should be the, not duh. But if you're talking about how to use it in a sentence, then it's used to refer to a specific thing. So if you say, I'm going to catch a bus, then you could be talking about any bus. But if you say catch the bus, then you're talking about a specific bus, a specific one on a specific route, and probably at a specific time. It's used for very specific things. Would you add anything to that, Tony?
So a lot of languages don't really have articles, either or the, but also a lot of languages only have the as an article. If there's no article in front of the word, then you just assume it's an example would be Russian, right? So you hear a lot of people that are coming from languages where there's just the one article, just a the, and they'll either forget to put in the word or they'll use the word the even when they don't mean it. Like, would you bring me the cup of water? Because they don't mean the cup of water, they mean a cup of water, but because there isn't an in their language. They know they have to put something before the noun in English, and so they tend to put the. So this is a really, I don't have a whole lot of advice just in general about, other than what Colin just said, but you really have to know what language you're coming from and how it uses articles differently. And that's, then look for the weaknesses there. So, you know, if you know that your language doesn't have articles at all, you have to be very intentional about when to use the article and when to use which one. Yeah. One other thing that's interesting is sometimes you use another word as the, it still makes it specific, like this one. For instance, if you say this cup, right, you're still talking about the cup, not a cup. But because you said something like this cup or my cup, you don't have to say the as well. So not this the cup or my the cup, this or my or something like that also makes it specified.
Yeah. Great. Okay, we've got a question from Facebook from Kayao, who says, I listen every day to English songs. This helps me improve English language. So yes, great. Listening to music is a really good way to learn English, especially if you like karaoke and you have the words on the screen and you sing along. So yeah, that's a great tip. That's something that a lot of people do. And actually, I think I've used music a little bit in my classes, not so much in the videos on YouTube, but in classes when I was doing classes, I did that. So yeah, great tip. Thank you for that. Let's see. Have we got any other questions, Tony?
Yes, I don't know if I'm seeing the questions. Maybe there's some things that are showing up for you that aren't showing up for me. Because I don't see any more questions. I can go back and say hello to some people we missed. Enrique Alberto from Hermosillo, Mexico. Welcome. Let's see, we've got Farouk Omar. We already answered one of your questions. Welcome back. Hamis Hagazi, Vanim Hesh. Welcome back. Akash Arya. Welcome.
Okay.
And so, Jack Darby. And number one.
Jack Darby. No, that I think Jack joined us in the new what's it called? Discord, the Discord group. That's the other thing we've launched.
Right. Yes.
That's the other thing that we've launched is our Discord. The link should be in the description. So yeah, we're now on Discord. There's a few people on there. Not much has really got started yet, but I'm hoping that will, given a bit more time. So yeah, if you are on Discord and you do use that, then click on the link in the description and we will see you there. I'm thinking in the future that we might be able to take questions for these live streams in advance on Discord. And also what we've found a few times recently is that a couple of people in the chat have got into a sort of conversation in the live stream chat, which is great, except it does make it very difficult for us to then find the comments that are useful, that we can actually talk about. So we can have that kind of conversation moved over onto the Discord chat. So yeah, check it out. Come and join us, and Jack, and we'll see you there. So there's a question here directed to you. It's again from number one. It says, Tony, how did English become a global language, even though it's not as long, or I think he maybe means not as old?
Oh, I think he maybe posted another version of that question.
Oh. Okay, yeah. Tony, how did English become a global language, even though historically its history is not so old compared to Greek, Latin, Hebrew, French? You seem to like history.
Right. So first of all, yes, Greek and Latin and Hebrew are on a whole different order of magnitude from how old English is. But English is not that much younger than French. They were both forming at similar times. English is really just how that Middle French combined with what they were already speaking in England at the time. So actually, before English was the global language, so to speak, French was. And the part of the reasons for this is just some of it's political, who is influencing who. So one of the reasons that French was so common is because it was spoken by the royal family of several different European countries. French was their native language, including the kings of England. And so because it was already the most commonly spoken royal language, other royal families would have to learn it in order to be able to speak with their fellows. English, and so again, part of it is political. The British Empire in the 1700s and 1800s was worldwide, and they were one of the major trading powers in the world, and they were one of the major powers protecting against piracy and doing some piracy, depending on where in the world you are. And so because they were such a naval power and so big into trade, people in lots and lots and lots of ports all over the world would learn English so that they could speak to the ship captains. A ship captain isn't going to be able to learn the language of every port they visit, but people in that port can learn English because they know English ships are going to come by. Now, so yeah, it became a global language in the maybe the 1700s, 1800s. But the reason it is such a dominant global language now is for a couple of reasons. The one I want to focus on is the fact that English is very flexible. English is spoken by millions of people in Pakistan. I heard once, I don't know if it's exactly true, but that there are more English-speaking people in Pakistan than there are in the UK. Even though not everyone in Pakistan speaks English, just because there's so many more people in Pakistan, right? So, Australia, South Africa, again, there are millions of English speakers in India. There are millions of English speakers in Hong Kong, in Japan, for instance. It's such a malleable language that any of these different groups can kind of take it and make it their own. There's some extreme examples like Jamaican, but really it's because it is so flexible, right? And it works well on the internet, and it's easy to type, I guess.
Yeah. And also
because so much media is created in English.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I was just going to say, because I guess the timing of like it being the most popular language when mass media became, movies and music, like we were talking about.
Yes.
So the countries that speak English, like the UK and America, are producing lots of music and movies and media, and that's spreading all over the world. And so again, that's making it a global language. Yeah. Great. Okay. There's a few questions I just want to touch on because I don't want you to think we're ignoring you, but I don't think it's going to take very long to answer. So Farouk, this ties in with the question Farouk asked earlier. Just to clarify, I think, is master's in didactic of English the same as a master's degree in education? So I think the answer is no. Didactics would be more teaching people how to teach, and a degree in education would be a degree in how to teach.
But this might be, again, this is probably something specific to where you're talking about, because I don't think that's a thing in either North America or the UK.
Yeah, I mean,
didactics.
Yeah.
If so, it's very niche. I've never heard of it in that context.
If you're looking at a university that offers these two courses and you can't decide which one, you should ask them what the difference is, rather than us, because
right.
Yeah, they'll.
But who knows? For all I know, maybe that's what they call a master's of education in, I don't know, Pakistan. I don't know. We don't. Again, English has all of these subvariants all over the world, and technically every new little discipline has their own subvariant of English, right?
Yeah. So Jack asks, study of elocution, is that something that would be useful for English learning? Now, elocution's a word that you don't really hear much nowadays. It's sort of a little antiquated. It relates to pronunciation, but it's more like having a certain type of pronunciation. Right?
Well, I mean, technically, elocution refers to both your pronunciation and your vocabulary, like how well you explain things.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. This is one of those words that has gotten stuck in ESL, in English language learning, globally, because it was really popular in the 1800s when those British schools started popping up all over the world, right? So back then, elocution was a class to teach you to speak English with a specific accent that was supposed to make you sound like not a low class person, but not an aristocratic snob either. And so it was drilled in the same way that like these schools often force people to learn Latin, even though nobody spoke Latin. It was just something that was seen as being a big deal when kind of education was really becoming a science. So nowadays, elocution is not really as much of a thing, but it shows up in a lot of old textbooks and a lot of schools overseas, just because it's this tradition that's been carried on from the 1800s, really.
Yeah, great.
So that said, pronunciation, very important. You want, like, it doesn't have to be this whole thing that you studied as like a separate subject, but if you're having trouble focusing in on the actual like way you pronounce each sounds is super useful. Being articulate, we would say articulate now to mean that you don't stumble over your words, you're not struggling to find something to say. Being articulate is just something that comes with practice, right? But we don't usually talk about it as elocution anymore.
Yeah. Okay, quick comment here from Camis. He says, thanks for your informative session. Well, thank you for watching. It's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. Now, another question from Jack. Jack's on fire today. He says, why is it that British stars don't sing in British accents? Do they? Well, I think, yes, they do. But accents are very strange when it comes to music. Often I guess maybe some people, when they sing in a different accent. I know that, like Adele, for example, when you hear her singing, and then I personally was very surprised to hear the way she speaks when she spoke, having heard her sing so much. I do think singers do sing in an English accent. I think Coldplay and bands like Keane, that's all, and certainly like Oasis, there's definitely British accents in there. Yeah. But that's not to say that maybe some people don't sort of change their accent when they start singing.
I will say, anyone who has professional training in singing is not singing in any specific English accent, because when you sing, when you're professionally trained to sing, you are taught to make sounds in a way that is going to be picked up properly, as opposed to the way that most people would normally make those sounds, right? So they are going to, for instance, a good example is R's are pronounced differently when you're given professional singing instruction, right? So that's probably what you're picking up on. You're like, I hear these people using the R sound is a lot harder. Like I actually hear it more than when I, watch BBC or something like that, or listen to Colin talk. And that probably is the case. So yeah, professional singers learn to pronounce words in a way that isn't as realistic, but it's easier to hear, easier to pick up.
Maybe I should do a video where I sing.
It would be interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, a quick comment here from Fatima, who says, hello, I am from Kerala, and this is the first time listening to your class. So great. If anyone else is watching for the first time, please drop us a comment, say hi. Be great to hear from you. And you're all obviously very welcome. Now, this is a comment that I just want to touch on. I don't think I have a great answer for you, though. It says, sir, Nilima says, sir, can you recommend any grammar book for the English language? I mean, should I follow any grammar book for learning English language? Actually, this isn't the comment I was thinking of. There's loads of great grammar books. One that I like is called English Grammar in Use. It's a very famous one. I can't remember the name of the person who wrote it, though. But anyway, yeah, English Grammar in Use. That's kind of, for many teachers, that's like the Bible for English grammar, at least from a learning English as a second language point of view. You can get very academic and really into grammar, but that's not really what we need to do if we're just
at that point
trying to
you're
learn
learning
English.
linguistics, not English.
Yeah. So, grammar again, it's like phonetics. It's a tool that we use rather than something we need to know inside out. It's a tool we use, and we can just refer to the things we have problems with rather than trying to learn the whole thing. But anyway, that is the one book I would recommend on grammar.
Uzal Sheikh and AJ both offered. The author is Raymond Murphy.
Raymond Murphy. That's it. Yeah. Great. Okay. Thank you for looking that up. Let's see. Jack again is just quickly. He's obviously a fan of yours, Tony. He's asking, what's the name of your website or works or channel? He wants to know more about you. But I think
I don't currently have a website or a YouTube channel. If I ever start one, I will let you guys know. It would probably be about literature and history or stuff like that.
Science, maybe.
Science, yeah, probably.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked in the past about you having a channel. So maybe we will. Maybe you will. And I'll probably help you with it. I'd love to do that if you wanted to. But anyway, yeah.
It would be fun.
For great thing for the English Language Club is that we, the only place you can, or the easiest place to come and enjoy Tony's company and Tony's wisdom and intelligence and insight is the English Language Club.
Certainly cheaper than a flight to Canada, that's for sure.
Yeah, great. Okay. So here's the thing. Farouk's asking, you should do Instagram Live. You have hundreds of spectators, more than YouTube. Well, I have, so I would like to do more Instagram. On my personal Instagram, I started that first, and I was putting a few quick phonetics videos on there, but that was a long time ago. And really, I want to make that more personal. So I started another one, which is just for the English Language Club. That's only got about 100 followers. And it doesn't have much content. But what we were thinking of doing is just chopping up these live streams and putting like one question at a time on the Instagram. So that's a possibility. I might do that in the future. Just the reason we haven't yet is just finding the time for it. But yeah, I would like to do live streams there, especially as you can do a live stream with someone else, like I'm doing with Tony, but with another Instagrammer. So I would like to do that, and I want to reach out to some of them, and maybe we'll do one on YouTube and one on Instagram as well. So check out my Instagram, even though there's not much there. Follow me anyway, or follow English Language Club anyway, because hopefully there'll be some interesting stuff there in the future. But I think we've got a lot more followers here on YouTube. On YouTube, we're about to hit 150,000. Probably we may have already hit 150,000. So that's great. Hopefully by the end of the year we can get to like 500,000, because we're going to be putting out a lot more stuff this year, as we mentioned. Great. Okay. Let's see. We've got any more questions? Good questions, Tony?
Questions.
Cask Learning. We got Cask Learning says is watching from Bangladesh. So hello, you're very welcome.
Was there anything on Facebook? I can't see them. They appear for a minute and then go away. I thought I saw a question though on Facebook. Yeah,
let's see. The last one I can see is the one that we've already talked about music from Kayao Min Luin.
Maybe that was it. I just forgot. We did miss a question. I'm not sure how to answer this question, but from Merlin in Myanmar, asked, can we suggest some spoken patterns like apps or websites? I'm not sure what you mean by that, by spoken patterns. Maybe give us an example.
I mean, there are verb patterns. So
is that what we're talking about? Yeah.
But I'm not sure. And even if that is, that's, to think of those off the top of our heads is going to be very difficult. That's definitely more the kind of question. If you Google that, you're going to find a better answer than we can give off the top of our heads. Yeah. So let us. Yeah. Sorry if that's not a satisfying answer, but yeah, let us know if that's what you're looking for. Yeah. So let's see. We've got the grammar book one.
Uzal Sheikh had a question or a request, maybe.
Yes, let's see. Hi, I'm Dihan Alam. I'm 9 years old from Bangladesh. Now I can pronounce 95% of words for your help. Now I'm studying at grammar. Can you make a video at part of speech or recommend a book, please? So a video
we have a video on parts of speech?
Yes.
I remember writing one ages ago. I don't know if it ever went into publication.
Yeah, we did. We did do a video about the parts of speech, and then we did briefly, when we were experimenting with the courses, we did do a lesson on parts of speech in that sort of test course that we did, but that was only public briefly. We should maybe do another one. We've got the content already. We can just we should maybe update it and put that out again, because we do want to put out a lot more videos. So yeah, well, anyway, Uzal, thank you so much for watching. I'm really glad you're finding these videos useful, and I'm glad that we've helped you with pronunciation. And yeah, now we are actually moving more into doing grammar. It was kind of by accident that we put out so much content about phonetics. There's reasons that I won't get into, but yeah, now we are. It was never the intention of English Language Club to focus on phonetics and pronunciation. So we are doing more about grammar now, and we've just launched at the beginning of January. We just launched our grammar course, which is called Inside English, focusing on tenses and how tenses work, when to use them, and how to understand them. So we're trying to make tense make sense. That's the idea of it. It's called Inside English. If you go to our website, you can join that course. It's currently half price because it's not complete yet. So it will remain half price until it's complete. So that might be quite some time. And if you keep watching these live streams, you might get additional discounts as well in the future.
Yes.
Yeah. So okay, great. Thank you for that, Usal. Hope I'm pronouncing.
Yeah, also said that he thinks you're the best teacher that he's ever seen, and I have to agree with that.
I doubt that's true, but anyway, thank you. I
definitely have the best ESL videos on YouTube.
Well, you say that, but there are so many now. I think that was definitely true when I first started.
It has been a long time, yeah. That's true.
But there's, since I started, there's probably 100 times more people doing videos than there were.
But your videos have always been such high quality and so direct and informative compared to 99% of the stuff that I see. But
yeah, I mean, we've got a sort of style which we stick to, because I feel like once people become accustomed to that, they know what to expect, and it's easier for them to kind of get something from it when they know what to expect. So that's why we stick to that kind of style. I always feel like it's a little bit lazy when you just see somebody, a teacher standing in front of a whiteboard, doing a video where they just turn around and write on the whiteboard. It's like, this is video. You could just make the text appear if you it's not that difficult, and it's a bit more, it's just more, it's more effective, because you can use more of your body language to communicate instead of turning around writing on a whiteboard, and it just makes it feel like you're back at school again, which nobody wants. Yeah, let's see. Fatima wants to speak English fluently like you. Well, stick with us. Make sure you're subscribed and join the English Language Club. Join us in the Zoom call tomorrow and keep watching these live streams, and you will become more and more fluent every day. So let's see. We've got a question from Faith, I think. Let's see. Faith says, my question is about pronunciation in fast speech. For example, months and it's the. That the or the sounds don't come up as regular by natives. Can you explain that? So months and it's the. Yeah. So I guess, especially in a word like the, that's so common, it does get softened and squeezed. I'm sure there are, in phonetics, there's terms for this, but off the top of my head, I can't remember.
I mean, it came up in one of our early live streams.
Yeah, I mean, connected speech would relate to it.
Assimilation, I think. But so the key, we talk about this a lot, especially T sounds, right? They soften a lot because the T sound is quite sharp and harsh now, and aren't as sharp and harsh, but they take a little bit longer to say fully. You can make a very short sound without changing it at all, but when you make a very short sound, it does change it a little bit, right? And that's okay. So months, for instance, we are saying the when I say months, it almost sounds like I'm not saying it, but I am saying the, but it's just very short, and it gets kind of overwhelmed by the S afterwards. Months. It's the, right, again, the S right before somewhat overwhelms it. It's still there. My best recommendation for if you're having trouble pronouncing it as opposed to understanding it is just make sure you put your tongue, your teeth in your mouth in the right place, even if only for a moment. And because it's really the process of changing, for instance, from the TH to the S or from the S to the TH, that's actually going to make the sound that you want. So yeah, just make sure you move your mouth to the right position, even if you don't feel like you hear it at all. If your problem is understanding it, that is much more challenging. It can be difficult to understand native speakers when they're speaking quickly and making shortcuts. It really just takes practice. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. So let's see. Next comment. Hello, sir. I'm Nitin, and I'm from India. I know English around 70%, but I have not any speaking partners. So please tell me what I can do. Right. So this is one of the reasons, because this is a common request we have, and I haven't had a good response until now. This is why we've started the Discord. So people can watch the videos and then they can go to Discord. And I think what we'll do within Discord, we'll set up some other groups that are sort of country specific. So you are in India, so we can make a little chat room for people in India, and you can find people who are maybe close to you, who perhaps you can meet up with, or you can just arrange to talk with them on Zoom, or you could arrange to talk with anyone who on Zoom or Skype or WhatsApp or whatever. So yeah, this is what the Discord is going to be all about. At the moment, I think we have 4 people, and that's including me and Tony. Yeah, and I think Jack was one of our others. So yeah, get on over to Discord and let's make it great. It's just beginning now. It's just the beginning, but let's make this happen. So yeah. Let's see. 76 Zulfa. Hello, I am Zulfa from Indonesia. I'm 19 years old. I have an exam next week, and I struggled in phonetics and phonology lessons. How to pronounce the intonation of a word sentence. So sentences, as we talk, we sort of go up and down with our tone to emphasize certain things, and to make a question sometimes. So in English, we make questions grammatically. The order of the words is different. We don't just say you like spaghetti like we do in some language. We should say, do you like spaghetti? So we add that auxiliary verb at the beginning. More on this in our course Inside English. But we do also use that tone that you get in other languages. But yeah, that the tones sort of go up and down throughout sentences. It's not something I mean, maybe there's a science to it.
Oh, there is, but
I'm not. Yeah.
We are.
But how useful is that for people who want to learn English?
Exactly. One of our main points here at the English Language Club is that memorizing long lists of rules just confuses people. And that's not how your brain learns a language anyway. You learn a language by practicing. You learn a language by speaking to people in that language, preferably native speakers. And you learn by being corrected as you make mistakes, because it's okay to make mistakes. You don't actually learn things by memorizing lists of rules. Okay, so for things like intonation that are very based on sound, just the easiest thing to do is listen to a lot of English, watch movies, listen to songs, watch podcasts, and practice so that once you make mistakes, you can be corrected. Now, of course, none of that helps you for an exam next week, right? So yeah, there's like it's a huge topic if you're talking about trying to memorize all the little rules. The only quick, simple things I can say is, WH questions, the intonation tends to go down, like where are you going? And yes or no questions, the intonation tends to go up. Did you see the movie last night? Right. But other than that, like the rules are too complicated to be able to give you any kind of quick thing that's going to help you on an exam.
And you got to think, Zulfa, what's your goal? Is your goal to be able to speak English more effectively, to be able to express yourself and to understand others? Because that's what it is for most people, and that's what we focus on at the English Language Club. So if you're like I said, phonetics and phonology and grammar, these are tools that you use for that goal of being able to express yourself and know English, be able to use English. But knowing them on their own is not that useful generally, unless that is something you really want to get into specifically, which is great if it is. But it's not, just because you know all of phonetics, you know lots about phonetics. It doesn't mean you've got good pronunciation necessarily. It doesn't mean you can communicate well in English. I think it's strange how a lot of schools and things will have phonetics lessons within or phonetics courses, within English classes, unless it's because for teachers who want to know how to want to know it in more depth to know how to use it to teach other students. But if your goal is to just learn English, you don't need to know these subjects in depth. You can just use them to help you with your problems and then move on.
And I'll even say, I have yet to see a course in phonology being taught to non-native speakers that taught people to pronounce things the way you would pronounce them in the UK or the United States or Canada. So, I mean, other than the fact that you're teaching people, it's essentially a linguistics lesson. You're learning about how language works, but you're not really learning to speak the language better necessarily.
Which is interesting. It's just that I think people fall into these classes and these traps where, because it's easy to come up with a syllabus, you can cover this point, this point, this point, but it's not really what the students need or want if their goal is to just, like I said, you be able to use English and understand English and express themselves.
Right. But that's what we're here for. That's why we do what we do. That's why we have our course Inside English, because we believe that, sometimes it's really simple things. Like, what's the first tense that you learn in an English class? Present simple. is because it's the easiest. Well, yeah, but the problem is you learn present simple, and that teaches you patterns that actually aren't patterns, that are exceptions. And then every other tense you learn for the rest of your life is more complicated because you did that first. Whereas if you start with present continuous, you learn all the patterns, everything is straightforward. It's just it's the least irregular. Bam, you can. And so that's we see this happening so often, where English, it's not being taught wrong, but it's being taught in a way that's just traditional. Going back, it's just being taught that way because it was taught that way, because it was taught that way, right? Instead of making sense. And so English has become this complicated thing instead of this simple thing. And again, going back to those questions we got at the beginning, people complain about English being complicated, but the reality is it didn't become such a global language because it's complicated. It became such a global language because it's simple, it's evocative, and it's changeable, so people can adapt it to what they want. You can say a sentence in broken English with getting all the grammar wrong, and people can still understand you a lot of the time, because English is so malleable. So really focusing on all the little rules is not, we don't like it, we don't promote it, and we try to help people learn the core rules that you need to understand how things work, and then beyond that you learn things just by practicing. Right?
Yeah. Great. Okay, so
all these tools like the Zoom channel and the Discord, these are designed to help you practice naturally instead of like learning by memorizing a bunch of rules.
Yeah. So Zulfa, I hope that's helpful. It may not have been the answer you were looking for, but I hope it, goes some way to sort of put your phonetics lessons into context. And if you don't do very well, it doesn't matter, because you don't need to know phonetics to be able to speak English fluently. Most native speakers don't know about phonetics. It's just a tool. You can just dip into it when you need to. So yeah, keep coming back to the English Language Club. Join us in these live streams. Join us in Zoom, and that will be great. So yeah, let's see.
I think Faith had another question about the rapid pronunciation. Yeah, but the dictionary. Yeah, this one's also about rapid pronunciation. I think it's just a follow-up.
Okay, and when I check the Cambridge Dictionary, regularly and particularly are completely pronounced. Some other sources say regularly and particularly. What's the deal? Thank you. So yeah, so technically the words are regularly and particularly, but a lot of native speakers will, when you just speak quickly, you just say particularly, regularly, like they're written there. But you should never write them like that.
No.
And this is why I guess they're difficult to spell, is because we spell them very differently to how we actually say them. So
regularly. Yeah. I don't regularly doesn't sound like anything you'd hear, but particularly you do hear. Particularly, like you might have a bit of a hint of an R. Particularly. People don't as often say particularly. It's just not a word that you typically enunciate exactly.
Yeah.
So that is a good. It's a general trend that in all languages, words get softened or shortened, or pieces get dropped out when they're pronounced quickly, or the more often they're said. Right. That's why we have contractions. And English is just particularly fluid about this compared to some languages. Yeah.
Great. Well, it's coming up to 3 o'clock, so we're going to have to draw this to a close. But just quickly, Usal says, "Can I join your club? And I want to be your premium member, my best teacher." Well, that's great. And I mean, like I said this last week. The YouTube channel and the English Language Club started over 10 years ago, but I feel like now it's only just beginning. it's since I sort of teamed up with Tony earlier last year, we started writing this course and doing these live streams. And yeah, so now 2021 is the year we're really going to up a gear, and we've got all these new things starting. So yeah, if you want to join the club, I know that not everyone can see it because it's a YouTube feature that is not available in every country. But if you look below the video, next to the subscribe button, there should be a join button as well. If you click that, you can become a paid member. And then I'm just going to show you what it will look like. So here we go. This is our channel. And if you go to here where it says community, you will see some of the posts that I've made. And these videos here are the member only behind the scenes videos. Not everything on this community tab is just for members. There's also other videos like this one, I just posted about a recent video that we published. This one here is the actual invitation to tomorrow's Zoom meeting. I won't click read more because then everyone will see the details. But yeah, if you want to join us in tomorrow's Zoom call, join the club now if you can, and then go to the community tab and check out the invitation to the Zoom meeting. And I'll probably post some other. Make some other posts about that as well between now and then. I am a little bit worried that we're not going to have anyone join us tomorrow. We've only got a handful of members so far, which is great. But yeah, so come on, join. Make sure you join us. Like I said, it's £2 a month, and this month you're going to, no matter what level, even at that £2 level, you're going to get 4-hour-long classes, and there may not be many people. It might be one-on-one. So
yeah. So
for 50p an hour, you can't do better than that. Now, if you are unable to join, whoops, my earpieces keep falling out. If you are unable to join because in your country it doesn't have that button, head on over to our website and send me a message, because it does seem like a lot of people are having this problem. And it may be the nature of our channel, being that we are teaching English. It may be that a lot of people are not able to access the membership. So we might come up with an alternative way of doing it through the website in the future. So do send us a message so we can let you know when we do that.
But speaking of the website, don't forget yet that our course Inside English that we've been talking about since spring of last year / fall for some of you is finally live.
Yeah, the course is finally live. I was just going to bring it up on the website. So yeah. So this is the website. This is actually the page about the live streams. So that's where you can go to see the live streams. But this is the homepage, and yeah, if you go here, you see Inside English, the new course. Click Start Now, and you'll be taken to the page where you can buy the membership. You can see here it's half price. So yeah, that's how you do it. And then down below here, we've also got let me just pause that. We've also got a link to our YouTube channel, but you already know about that. Here you can join up to our mailing list. This is the page about our live streams that I just saw. We just saw. We've got an app, pronunciation app, which you can get there. This is a link to our Discord, and then here's another link to our course. So yeah, englishlanguageclub.co.uk is the website. And if you put /live, that will be a page you can go to get information about the next live stream. But yeah, for now, if you join the club, and I really hope to see lots of you tomorrow on Zoom. But unless there's anything else, Tony, I think we'll call it a day. Okay. Yeah. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.